Is Star Trek about to pull its greatest villain twist in years? Star Trek has a long and impressive history with plot twists. Jean-Luc Picard's shocking transformation into Locutus, the Red Angel's identity, Spock's death in The Wrath of Khan, and the existence of Section 31 are just a few of the big bombshells Star Trek has dropped over the years. On the other hand, it's becoming more and more difficult to truly surprise viewers in the modern era. So many of Star Trek's current movies and TV shows are wrapped around older releases, whether that be the Kelvin films reinventing the original series Strange New Worlds running as a prequel, or Starfleet Academy sitting between Star Trek Discovery Season 5's ending and the flash forward with Burnham as an admiral. Star Trek's timeline limits each show's ability to take big swings, and therefore its ability to include major twists. Having said that, Starfleet Academy is potentially building towards a stunning twist that could be Star Trek's best in years. The whereabouts of Caleb Mears' mother has provided Starfleet Academy with an overarching mystery, and while the trail went cold for a while there, Episode 7 finally remembers Starfleet is supposed to be looking for her. Despite Caleb pressing for details, Captain Ake claims not to possess any further information. Still, their conversation at least suggests major revelations are on the horizon. The more time passes without answers, the less likely Caleb will get the ending he's hoping for. Looking at the scant details, we do have the situation looks bleak. Anisha Mir was handed time in a rehabilitation facility after reluctantly assisting Nus Braca in a violent theft. The length of her sentence wasn't specified, but after 14 years, she still hadn't been released, and instead made an escape with Braca as an accomplice. It's curious that Braca was sentenced to life in a penal colony, while Anisha was to be placed in the less severe setting of a rehabilitation center, yet somehow both ended up together during their respective stints behind bars, at which point they escaped. It's highly unlikely that Starfleet cut Nus Braca some slack by moving him to a rehabilitation center, which must mean Anisha was for reasons unknown transferred to a more secure prison partway through serving her time. Anyone would imagine that Anisha Mir's priority upon escaping would be finding her son, and yet Caleb's attempts at communication have gone strangely unanswered. Why would Anisha bother escaping if not to see Caleb again? A scheme of some significance must be developing if it takes priority over a mother-son reunion. Caleb's current storyline provides another reason that a happy ending is unlikely. Let's assume Caleb finds his mother, her sentence is commuted, and they live happily ever after. Starfleet Academy's protagonist would lose the angry edge that currently serves as his primary motivation. For Caleb's character to keep evolving, it's all but inevitable that his mother is no longer the kind, loving parent he remembers. Caleb's mother isn't the only unknown quantity in Star Trek Starfleet Academy. Nus Braca attacking Nala Ake's ship on its very first flight, a ship with Caleb Mir on board, no less feels too unlikely to be a coincidence. We've also since learned that Braca somehow forged a working alliance with the unpredictable Furies, making them cooperate in a plan without going off script or disobeying orders. Finally, Braca stole experimental weapons from a Federation lab for some mysterious purpose. These aren't the actions of a glorified space pirate looking for his next score. It smells more like an anti-Starfleet conspiracy. Putting these details together, it's plausible that Anisha Mir is pulling the strings behind the scenes and will ultimately be unveiled as Starfleet Academy's true villain. For starters, Anisha Mir has an excellent motive. Being ripped away from her young son is enough to give anyone a lifelong grudge against Starfleet. It appears that Anisha may have maneuvered her way through the Starfleet prison system to make contact with Nus Braca, intending to forge an alliance and escape together. Why would Anisha risk getting a longer sentence after already serving 14 years? Why would she escape but not use her freedom to visit Caleb? All signs indicate a revenge plot. According to Braca, he and Anisha escaped to Goja V, then parted ways, but he could easily be lying. Goja V is a hive of gang activity, and while someone managed to successfully bring the Furies under control, Braca himself doesn't seem capable of such a feat. Anisha may have been calling the shots, since her escape recruiting the Furies on Goja V, directing Braca and the Furies under her own leadership, and keeping everyone in line. That would also explain why the Furies and Braca steal experimental Starfleet weapons. Braca himself has little use for such devices in his line of work, but we know Anisha was feverishly studying physics and showed high intelligence while in detention, so the stolen gear could become part of her grand plan. Likewise, it's possible that the advanced, never-before-seen nanotech on Nus Braca's ship was designed by Anisha Mir herself, since Braca doesn't seem like the tech-minded type. Back in Starfleet Academy Episode 6, Braca chillingly described his enduring hatred of Nala Ake. It's a hatred that would be matched only by Anisha Mir's. So while a Braca-Mir alliance might seem unlikely at a glance, it's really a natural partnership of anti-Starfleet sentiment. The final piece of the puzzle would be the breadcrumbs of information Braca has been feeding Caleb since Starfleet Academy began. He led Caleb to Goja V by hinting that something awful happened to his mother there, and that clue led to the Romov sector pulling the USS Athena this way and that. Braca, on Anisha's orders, might be manipulating Captain 8, getting her in position for a final act of glorious vengeance in Star Trek Starfleet Academy Season 1 finale.